Patapon is a video game published for the PlayStation Portable handheld game console combining gameplay features of a rhythm game and a god game. The title is created from two Japanese onomatopoeia, pata and pon. The game is presented in a cartoonish, silhouetted two-dimensional environment, and features the player acting as a deity who commands an army of caricatured miniature tribal creatures by beating traditional talking drums. The game was developed by Pyramid and produced by Japan Studios. Gameplay: Patapon is a video game that the player controls in a manner similar to rhythm games. The player is put in direct control of a tribe of Patapon warriors. To command the warriors, the player inputs specific sequences using the face buttons on the PSP, each representing a talking drum, in time to a drum rhythm. These sequences order the tribe to move forward on the linear battlefield, attack, defend, and other actions. If the player inputs an unknown sequence or enters them off the main rhythm, the tribe will become confused and stop whatever they are doing. However, repeatedly entering a proper sequence in sync with the rhythm will lead the tribe into a fever, increasing their attack and defensive bonuses. The tribe will stop doing anything after performing the last entered command if the player does not enter any more commands. For example, some commands are square, 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 circle, which has them march forward, and circle, circle, square, circle, which makes them attack. The game is divided into several missions. Prior to each mission, the player can recruit new troops and assemble formations, equip troops with weapons and armor gained from the spoils of war crafted from certain minigames. The player can return to an earlier mission to acquire additional resources and equipment to build up their troops before a larger battle. Story: The Patapon tribe were flourishing people until they experienced many tragic losses, and later on, they were maltreated by the Zigaton Empire. The player takes the role of their god, the Almighty, and uses sacred war drums to direct the Patapons to recover their land. As the story progresses, the Patapons embark on a journey to Earth-End to look upon it, a sacred object whose appearance is unknown to the tribe, and its purpose is to grant the Patapons eternal contentment and true happiness. The enemy of the Patapons is the evil Zigaton Empire, a powerful tribe of slightly squarish creatures with red and black eyes that have oppressed the Patapons since their fall from power. It becomes apparent later in the game that the Zigatons have their own prophecy which tells that when the Patapons finally sees and gazes at it, the world will fall into chaos. Towards the end of the game, many of the main Zigaton warriors sell their souls to the dark forces in an attempt to gain more power. Eventually Queen Karma, ruler of the Zigatons, sells her soul in a final attempt to destroy the Patapons. When she was defeated, the Patapons have to kill Gaul, the demon that once threatened the world. Once defeated, the three Euripans from the beginning arrive at the coast, which they assume to be Earth-End, and see the rising sun, which they assume to be it. However, unfulfilled by the anticlimactic end of their journey, they come to the conclusion that it is, in fact, not the sun, and to realize their destiny, they must cross the ocean to the real Earth-End and continue their quest. At the end of the game, there is a scene in which the Patapons and the Zigatons are working together to build a boat to cross the sea. Playable demo, on January 25, 2008. A playable demo was announced by the Patapons' associate producer Chris Hinojosa Miranda via the official PlayStation blog. He revealed that the demo would be available for those who pre-ordered a copy of Patapon through GameStop. It has since been released as a downloadable demo for those in Europe and North America through the PlayStation Store. Progress made in the demo version of Patapon is transferable to the full retail release so players can resume progress from where they left off in the demo. Sequels. On July 9, 2008, a sequel was announced. The game was released on UMD on November 27, 2008 in Japan and on February 13, 2009 in Europe. The North American version was released May 5, 2009 as a digital format download from the PlayStation Store. People who reserved a copy of the game at a retail store were given a voucher to download it off the PlayStation Store. The game features new bosses and new units, a multiplayer mode and the appearance of a new tribe. During E3 2010, Sony announced another sequel titled Patapon 3. Reception. IGN rated the game 9.2/10, and considers Patapon not only one of the best rhythm games ever released, it's also one of the best titles for the PSP. GameSpot gave Patapon a 9.0/10, citing its excellent art design and innovative gameplay. 1UP.com gave the game an A, noting its understated strategic depth despite the game's faults. Metacritic has an aggregate score of 87/100. The game has sold 229,000 copies in North America by January 2009. GameSpot nominated this game in Best of 2008 awards. It was nominated in Best Graphic, Artistic, Best Original Music, Best Original Game Mechanic, Most Innovative Game, Best Original IP, Best Rhythm Music Game, Best PSP Game, and won 2 of these awards. Awards GameSpot's Best of 2008, Best Original Music, Most Innovative Game, IGN's Best of 2008 awards, Best Music Rhythm Game, Best Artistic Design, Best Original Score, Best New IP, PSP Game of the Year. See also, Jungle Rumble, a rhythm game where drumming is used to control a tribe of monkeys with a Patapon-influenced mechanic. Best Groove, 1998 music fighting game with similar gameplay. Kuchi Shaga, a Japanese phonetic system for pronouncing the sounds of drums. Patapon 2, Patapon 3, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, a game that has a Patapon-influenced stage. References. External links, Patapon at Moby Games, Patapon US website, Patapon Japanese website, official flash game to promote the release of Patapon in Europe, New Zealand and Australia.